Okay, let me get this out right the way at the bat here, folks. I, I'm not even going to name him. I'm not even going to give him any sort of clout. I was watching this fool who was saying once again that the United States is going to fall under fascism. And we saw him pretty much just parrot what Noam Chomsky said, and leftists rightfully were like, no, Chomsky, you're a fucking idiot. Because Noam Chomsky said, oh, well, look at what the Social Democrats did and all the, if the Social Democrats had stopped, the Nazis. It's like, they have no historical context whatsoever. It's like, if you had watched at least if you had listened to one of my videos, and now I'm going to sound like I'm shilling myself, but nonetheless, on talking about Ernst Rumm's memoir, you would see that they were not unified. And this, it's like, whether it was Dietrich Eckart or whether it was Hitler, there was no, nothing was set in stone that they were going to take over, that they were unified. There were so many other groups around. Like I say, there was the Kampfbund, I believe Reichskriegsflagge, and all these other, Kampfbund, I guess, was the whole organization that was connected, but there were so many other little groups around. And to think, just because Nazis took over, what unified force, in all seriousness, is going to be a new Nazi force and get elected? No one. There is none. Wait not to get arrested. And the thing is, it's not like Weimar Germany where they only get a slap on the wrist and they get like maybe 2 years in a nicer jail where you can visit. No, you get people like James Alex Fields who take it for whatever it is. I'm just going to say, you know what happened, happened. But the guy is doing something like 240 years in jail. And apart from, I know, Augustus Invictus is free. I don't give a fuck about that fool. If you really think that fool has any serious sort of, if you think he has any sort of legitimacy, come on. Every other week, it seems like anyway, another The Base cell gets broken up, or another Atomwaffen fool gets arrested because they were talking shit on Discord or something like. I mean, they don't even go on Discord now; they're on Telegram. But it's like, my dude, if you really think that fascism is coming to the United States, you're a moron. I'm just going to tell you that right now, straight up. You are a moron. National Socialist Movement doesn't exist. The Ku Klux Klan, other than a few groups, they're not that serious. Warlordism is the future of the United States. Pure and simple. If things fell apart, it's going to be warlordism. There's not going to be some unifying type of thing. No. It's going to be like the Syrian Civil War, or it's going to be like the Chinese Civil War, where it's like various groups may somewhat get along, but they're not going to, it's going to take time before they coalesce into one thing. And they decide, okay, there we go. Or even the Spanish Civil War. The Carlists didn't immediately get along and say, yeah, we joined the Phalangists or the other right-wing groups. You think they automatically did the fuck? No. They did it after time, and they gave in because ultimately Franco gave lip service. That's all he did. Francisco Franco gave lip service. And what he created was much similar to, I would say similar, not exact carbon copy, but similar to what happened with Italy. And Benito Mussolini continued to keep the royal family right there. And ultimately what happened? It's the same thing with Franco. He was loyal to the crown to a point. He was still a good Catholic boy. It's just, I would assume at this point that groups like, I would say the Nation of Islam is arguably stronger than any sort of white nationalist group. And I know people are going to say, white nationalism is the thing. We still have, the thing is that all these researchers of white nationalism, they still have to drag shit up from 2017 acting like they're fucking special. No. It's like that shit has been covered. It's like if you think that the Proud Boys are a serious threat, I don't take it seriously. I don't. Once again, I'm sure that people are going to call me a MAGA. They'll say this and that, but it's like, take groups that are not necessarily motivated politically, and look at them. They're far more effective. And I know people are going to say, like, I'm a MAGA or this and that, but it's like, look at the Latin Kings, or look at MS-13, or look at, like I say, the Nation of Islam. These groups are far more resilient than any sort of Wignat group that exists. These Wignat groups just LARP, and they're it's just based on some gay fantasy, There's no realistic group right now that exists, for white folks. I'm sorry, I'm just going to tell you. Honkies, no, we don't have anything legitimate to go, to fight against the powers that be. It's just no. If you think that the libertarians are going to fight back, just no. The United States is not going to turn to fascism. The United States is going to be a series of fiefdoms. That's all it is. It's going to be, that's what the future is. And if that's fascism, you need to be smacked in the head. I'm just going to tell you. That is the future. Yeah. The United States, it's just, once the economy falls apart, I've thought this in my head, but I think it's pretty realistic, is that some state governments are going to be strong, others are going to be weaker. Texas is going to really try to lay down the law in certain areas. Now, will that be statewide? It's a matter of opinion. But I really truly don't believe that, we're going to have some brown shirt organization taking over. You're going to have the black shirts, walking down the street or whatever. They're going to take, no. It's like, what happened with the Tea Party? Did the Tea Party do anything? No. Tea Party didn't do diddly squat. They promised a lot of things and they helped people like Ted Cruz get elected, but it's like, no. The future is going to be just different groups, and it's going to be based on, control. It's going to be based on money more than anything else. It's not going to be based on political power. It's like, yeah, they're going to have their own figureheads and they're going to put in their own puppets, but it's like overall they don't give a fuck about politics. It's about money. It's going to be about power. It's not necessarily going to be, oh, well, yeah, we're going to go get the Jews. No. They don't care about that. They're about the money. It's the old classic fable that you always hear. You have a little village or a little town, and you have two different options of what could happen. You've got the robber baron, and you've got the zealot. The robber baron comes by every 5 or 6 months, may come loot the place and take what they want, and then they'll leave. They're not going to come back. The zealot is going to stay, and he says, I'm the only one that can fix you. Nobody else can. That's the difference. And I know, I'm sure people are going to tell me, oh, this is some libertarian shit. This is you saying that the alt-right doesn't have any power, or Nazis don't exist. It's like, you have to tell me in present day, in 2020, unless you want to be disingenuous and say that those boomers that are out there blocking hospitals and whatnot are really fascists, or that they'll actually fight for anything. When the serious shit comes down, they're not going to, they're going to say, oh, I'm sorry, police. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Mr. Military Man. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. America. I don't believe for a minute that any of these boomers or libertarians, which have taken over this, the public image, dare I say, of the right, are going to do anything to try to change the situation. They're not going to. They aren't going to do that. So I don't believe this whole idea. It's like, oh, well, fascism is on its way. Oh, let's look at Weimar Germany. That's a basic bitch wignet talking point. It's like Weimerica. It's like, no. It's just that goes to show how historically illiterate you are. And it's like I say, I tried to compare. I know people are going to hell me for this. I'm trying to at least understand that I'm full of shit. But it's like, I understand that, yeah, what could happen in America is not going to be the same thing as what happened in Syria or what happened in China. I realize that. I just want to say that for the record. But I think there are going to be similarities. I was thinking of Ma Bufang, for example, one of the Ma clique. And he was way up north and started kind of a semi-socialist system. Of course, ultimately, Ma Bufang, Sunni Muslim, later joined the nationalists. And when the Kuomintang failed in 1949, he ended up going back to Taiwan and later became I believe, a diplomat to Saudi Arabia. I believe he died in Saudi Arabia. But he was a Sunni Muslim. He was also the 40s, 50s, and the 50s, 60s, and 70s, I imagine. Not sure when Ma Bufang died, but I could check it right quick. But, it's like, the thing is that, that was, he felt a loyalty because obviously he was Sunni, he was a Sunni Muslim. Okay, he died in 1975. Okay. Yep, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. There you go. Inshallah. So, I'm just using that as an example. The idea that you think that the United States is going to become a fascist nation is just absolute horseshit. It is absolute horseshit. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. The United States is just going to break up into various bits. And people are going to be, loyal to regionalism. Or they're going to be, and the various gangs are going to come up. Whether it's the Crips, whether it's the Bloods, whether it's MS-13, whether it's whoever. And Nation of Islam isn't a gang. I'm going to try not to be racist, but it's like those groups have far, far more influence than any sort of white nationalist movement or any sort of libertarian movement. The libertarians, it's like they may fire a few shots, but if you think in any serious way that they're going to, once again, libertarians just want to defend their own property. They're going to stick to the NAP and all that. Some of them are going to go fash or whatever and may join, the National Guard or something like that. But in general, they're too cowardice. They're absolutely too cowardice. So I don't believe this. I'm just long-winded, but I don't believe. I have no wanting and no. There are no indications to me that some fascism is going to rise up. It's not going to. No. Because the thing is, like I say, at the very base of fascism is that you have to have some sort of unity and some sort of unifying identity. And it's like, maybe it'll come up. Maybe, I'm not going to be a complete idiot, but I don't see it. I don't see people like Nick Fuentes, who's still talking about groypers, who's on fucking TikTok now, trying to argue with kids younger than him, trying to act like he's still a young dude. It's like, come on, bro. Bro, I'm sure you used to make fun of TikTok videos all the fucking time because you saw these e-thoughts. And it's like, now you on TikTok, making videos like, making groyper memes like it's 2018 still or 2017. It's like, my dude. Occasionally there may be a good groyper meme, but it's like all that shit has died. Same thing with Pepe and all that shit. My dude, that shit is dead. And it's like, just to make sure is that you may see me, post on Twitter. You notice I took out the link. But it's like, in general, nobody cares about those memes anymore. It's like that time has passed, man. That time has passed. I don't believe this whole idea where it's just like, oh, well, the United States is going to become fascist. No, it isn't. The United States is not going to become some fascist entity. To think that some corporatism, we're going to march on Washington. This isn't the 1920s, fool. It's not the 1920s. Nobody's going to it's going to march on Washington and do all that. No. This isn't the Ku Klux Klan where we can do that. No. Too much shit has happened. It's just warlordism. I'm just going to say it. Warlordism is the future. I just lost 2 people that were watching this. They're probably like, oh, who's this random guy? Let me see what's on there. You're probably just bored. I get it. You're still in lockdown. You probably just clicked on this thinking, oh, this is something interesting. Let me hear what this has to say. Oh, shit. I get it. Don't worry. I get it. But like I say, man, I don't get this whole type of shit where it's just like, oh, well, fascism is going to, no, it isn't. And I saw, what, I'm just going to reveal him. I'll give him a little bit of clout, but it's like when I see people like Vosh who just act like, oh yeah, well, he just starts spurging out because he sees it as a disingenuous argument. I just, for people like me, I'd rather just wait for the consequences. Wait for people like Biden and see what they're going to do. People are still saying, oh, well, that's going to be harm reduction. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. This is the guy who, that vice president is going to be doing everything. Whatever woman he picks, whether it's Nina Turner, whether it's, whoever, he's going to have to choose pretty soon, within the next couple of months here. But it's like, I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. It's just so cringe. It's just so BS to be like, oh, well, this is what's going to happen. No, you don't know that. You don't know that at all. Oh, I was staying on just for those other 3 people that were on, but I think I've used up my forces. I've said my piece. Now I'm going to repeat what I've said the whole time, or at least most of the time, at least my consistent view, as I see it. At the end of the day, everybody's going to do what they have to do to survive. Now, of course, the fact that you're living right now and that you're seeing this means that you're surviving. But to have continual survival, to maintain, is a whole different thing. So people are going to do what they have to do to maintain this world. And it's going to be different wherever you are. It's going to be different in Tennessee. It's going to be different in Montana. It's going to be different in Nebraska. It's going to be different in Washington State. It's going to be different in Texas. It's going to be different all over, man. And as I've always said, you're going to make your own choices. Maybe I'm sounding like someone's father here, but it's like at the end of the day, you're going to make your own choices. I can't control you. And you're going to join groups I'm sure that you disagree with in a lot of ways. Some political group, or maybe you're going to be a gun runner. Maybe you're going to be a hustler. Who knows if things continue to fall apart? Because a lot of people, we all got cabin fever right now. Or a lot of us do. A lot of us got that cabin fever. We can't, we see that even in California, they're shutting down parks and everything else, or excuse me, and even in Dallas-Fort Worth, I should say, they have a park where it's like you can only go, it's like they're doing it by last name, where it's like A through M or something like that goes on Tuesday, Thursday, and these go on these days. It's like, and that's the game that's going on right now, And it's like, I really want to, but ultimately, I just say this, man, is that you're going to have to make your own choices. If you're going to join some group that you think is going to benefit you, I can't fault you. I'm not going to knock you. I may disagree with it and be like, well, okay. That's all I'll say. Be like, okay, you had to make your choice. I don't really care about when these other folks try to moralize to you and act like, oh, well, if you don't join us, then you're a bad person. Fuck you. At this point, I would say that to a person's face, I think. I'd be like, man, fuck you. You don't fucking know me. That's how I feel, man. And we see things are getting wilder. The temperature's rising. I have to believe to a point when Crystal Ball and Sargar and Jetty on the hill are rising, I should say. Take them with a grain of salt. Ultimately their shit lives and this and that, but it's like there are no heroes. There are no heroes in this country right now. There are no heroes. Who's a hero? Who's realistically a hero? I mean, unless you want to say, a nurse is a hero or a doctor is a hero, okay, you can go ahead and say that to a point. But it's like in general, is there any politician who's a hero? Hell no. No. We see people, we see these CNN reporters, taking the mask off and just acting a damn fool. Just running off of the mouth. And yet they still got jobs, man. Because they know they know what game they have to play. They know where their bread is buttered. What side of the the side of the bread they are buttered on. And I know I always fuck up that phrase, but I don't care. But it's like, at the end of the day, man, that's what it is. I don't think it's going to fall apart yet. I think that, I think at the very least what's going to happen is that they're going to say they found a vaccine of some sort. And it's actually just going to be a placebo. I bet you. I'm not going to go down the anti-vaxxer route. I'm not going to do all that. What I am going to say, though, like I say, it's going to be a placebo. They're going to lie. They're going to give people placebos. It's going to keep people happy. They're going to find it out pretty soon afterwards, I imagine, within a year, at the least. And they'll just say it's a placebo, and they'll get people back out there. I'm not going to waste my time bashing China. It's just, it just serves the shills out there. It does. And that's my view of it. I've occasionally done some very questionable stuff, but in general, I'm trying not to have that belief. Because I know at the end of the day, man, people are going to, like I say, they're going to have to make their choices in this world. And they have their loyalties. Everyone's got their loyalty. When I see these, when I see people like Vosh or whatever try to be like, oh, well, fascism is rising up. No, it isn't. But I've gone over that. But it's like, I'll try to finish this up. In general, it's going to be, the economy is going to change. And I think we're going to see that a lot of people are not going to get those jobs back, man. And a lot of people are going to be waiting for that UBI, And at the left, there are a lot of lefties who are trying to play this game of, well, if UBI was done this way, then it would be okay. But because Andrew Yang is talking about it, and he made one comment about white people, he must be a fascist. So we're not going to like him. Now, of course, like I say, Andrew Yang went on CNN, later endorsed Biden. And he played his game. He played his role. But at the end of the day, UBI is obviously going to be the future. And that's what's going to happen with older folks. They're going to give you a check every month. They're going to say, it's going to be like an allowance and say, this is all you have. Okay, This is similar to what I believe, kind of like what Finland has. It's just going to be, our version of Sockdamism in the 21st century. That's going to be what it is. And, it's just going to continue to, we're going to kick the can down the road. Like I say, I don't see fascism rising up, though. I still don't see that. Like I say, every other week, some wignat gets busted. We see all these folks getting doxxed on TikTok because they said the N-word, they did this and that. It's like, yeah, as stupid as they were for them, it goes to show you're creating a class of people that have nothing to lose. So it's just, I don't know, man. I'm sticking around for that one person. I don't know if that's Reese or if it's whoever. It's like, you can go ahead and type in the chat, man. I don't know if you can, but you can. Go ahead and tell me I'm full of shit or something. Like I say, in a way, I'll talk about this one last thing and then I'll move on. It's a good thing that I'm just a small little channel in general. It's a gift for the most part. Yeah, I wish I'd have more clout here and there. But at the end of the day, I'm somewhat under the radar. I say some spicy stuff, but in general, I'm not, I'm pretty much just in that kind of quiet little tier, other than me posting cringe for a video, or, if I upload a video that has copyright material. But other than that, in general, I'm not going to say anything crazy. I don't know. But anyway, I like where I'm at. I'll just say that. Um, I don't know, bro. I'm at the point where it's just like, okay, whatever, man. Whatever, dude. And just, we have to learn to just kind of roll with it, man. I guess you could call me vaguely right wing, but at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck about those labels. I'm just gonna do what I have to do, man. We're all going to. We're all gonna make those choices that we don't like to do, but we're gonna do it. If for nothing else, then for ourselves, or for our families, or for your kids, or whatever thing is out there, man. Maybe like Mad Max style. It's not gonna be some fascism where I mean, that's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Thinking that the United States, I still can't get over that. But it's just like, no. You're not going to have brown shirts in the streets doing that. It's like, yeah, the police will get stronger. And yeah, they'll get, but it's like, there'll be people who are going to fight the cops. Anyway, it's just so ridiculous to me to be like, oh yeah, fascism is rising up. No, it isn't. No, it is not. Fascism is not rising up. It rose up in 2017. And then how many of those folks were arrested? Now, how many people do you have researching the far right? How many grifters and hustlers, how many, researchers, I should say, not hustlers, some of them are out there researching the far right now? How many folks are on Twitter who are just like, haha, how many people are out there? I can't even think of that fool's name. You have all these folks researching the far right now. And I'll be looking for the memes. I'll be looking for folks and take them down. It's like, it's the same thing with TikTok. It's like, if you just say the N-word and you're a white dude, or even if you're Asian, you're going to get taken down. You're going to be taken down, man. So I don't understand. It's like, that's my perspective. It's like, how is fascism rising when it's like, it's like the difference between Weimar Germany and the United States is that Weimar Germany at least had some leftovers of what was, as I was reading in Ernst Röhm's memoirs, is that, there was still some pride for the old system. Other than boomers who really don't know what the fuck the system is, that sort of pride doesn't exist. That's why National Socialism rose to what it is, because they actually had a base where, once again, people like Hitler made their deals with, with conservatives, and made his deals with the monarchists and all this. Is that, he made his deals with those types of folks. And that's why, a lot of these folks call themselves Nazbol. And even then, Nazbol is a meme. Who the hell is Who the hell is working at 9:20? Okay, you know what? Anyway, it's just so ridiculous to me, because like, material conditions are completely different, and it's just so ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I have wasted a good half hour. You have wasted another perfectly good hour listening to Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers. I was listening to that earlier. Show my boomerness there. Look up Click and Clack, NPR Click and Clack, Tom and Ray Magliazzi. That's some classic stuff. I remember spending a lot of hours driving with my parents to some place and listening to click and clack the Tappet brothers. But anyways, like, you've wasted a perfectly good half hour listening to me rant and rave. I got 2 people. Somebody just comment. That's all I'm asking. So you know, I'm scared somebody away. Just comment. You can just comment. Just be like, bro, you're a spurg. Go ahead, please. I'm just so desperate for attention now. It's hilarious to me now. There's this one person. You can type out, you can troll me. Go ahead and be like, bro, you're a spurg. I scared him away. Okay. We're going to end it there. They don't, yes, it's cringe to beg, isn't it? It's cringe. Okay. Well, you know what? I appreciate the 2 or 3 people that were actually listening to this, and I appreciate the 7 or 8 people that are going to hear this and may, you know, that'll probably skip over most of it, which is probably for the best. You know, it's okay. Once again, I do the same thing for YouTube videos. I don't want to sit and listen to some guy who's going to talk for 30 or 40 minutes unless I really think it's worth my time. Just like today, I uploaded a mirrored video from Keith Woods because I thought it was a genuinely good video. So I mirrored it. I gave him credit and I linked to his original video because I thought it was a genuinely good video. And he used Michael Parenti as a guide, apparently. So, you know, nothing wrong with that. I thought it was a good video regardless. You know, I don't want to give too much away about it. I think that the wars in the Balkans were complicated as fuck. They were very complicated. Unless you're from there and you didn't see the KPA or the Serbs or the Croats and all this, it was a mess. And what we see in the United States is going to be a mess. You know, the United States still has this sort of barrier where it's like, you know, we'll go into every other country and fuck up their elections, but don't mess with ours. Oh, you know, we have to worry about the Russians or the Chinese. Or in reality, you know, it's like, yeah, that exists to a point, but it's like, you know, I saw another video. I'll tell you this. I saw a video from the Gray Zone. I saw good old Anya Parampil talking with this Anglo. And he was originally from, I can't remember what city. I can't think of it. A northern city in the United Kingdom. And he apparently lives in Beijing. And I thought to myself, you get all these types of, you know, you get these folks. You get a lot of the Anglos who are, you know, just super, you know, China-centric type folks. And they're just like, oh, yeah, well, I live in Beijing. You don't see them go outside Beijing in general, do you? You don't see them go out to the countryside. You don't see them go out to those small places, do you? They stay in their nice little places. You know, I imagine it's the same thing with, you know, Chinese expats as well. You don't see them exploring the back roads. It's like, you know, you don't see them do. That's the whole thing about expats and diaspora. Diaspora are cringe. Everyone knows this, though. Everybody knows this. There's just another aspect. They, you know, whatever European mix I am, being the Maramut as I am, it's like, I know once again I'm doxing myself here, but it's like, they don't want my ass in Europe. They don't want me to go back to Wales or go back to Germany or wherever, you know, Norwegian or Swedish mulatto have them. Man, they don't want me to come back. I'm a product of the American society, bro. That's part of the thing. We're, you know, you know. And if you want to blame white folks or whatever sort of, you know, white isn't a white isn't an identity. Black is an identity, but it's just I don't know. There's so many other aspects to it, but it's just like, it's just so ridiculous. It is absolute horseshit when you see these fools. You know, absolute cringe with these folks, man. You know, I'm just frustrated as hell when you see this type of shit. It's just, you know, the United States, I don't imagine, you know, I don't hold some, you know, I'd say this, I'd hold the centrist position. I'm not going to be like some boomer and expect America to go back to the 50s or something like that. I don't expect that. But I also don't completely want to destroy everything in America either. Although, a fair amount will be destroyed. And there will be some things that are left, that will stick around, or some ideas that will stick around. So, I don't know, man. Like I said, I've been ranting and raving. I've been going on, like I say, once again, if you want to get in my head a little bit, I stay on here because I see that one person just hanging around. I don't know if I'll scare him away. But you know what? I'm going to end it here because dadgum, I've gone on long enough. I've talked about so many other things other than the future of America, but it's like, a lot's going to change, man. America is not going to, it's not the 50s anymore. It's not the 60s. It's not any of those things. And America has not adapted. We have not adapted. I'm going to learn some more Mandarin and just hope for the best. That's all I can do. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, I think I'll end it there. I do appreciate those few people who did come in, even if it's by mistake. Like, who the hell is this guy? Is he, what's this fool talking about? Anyway, see you later. Y'all have a good night.